what we are capable as a human species if we're not conscious. Like even good civilian would turn to follow a certain regime or maybe just in fear and end up like killing or harming like innocent people.
Yeah, it totally aligned. And it's a little bit off subject, but a theory on World War II is to look at the Japanese. The Japanese are a very proud old lineage with samurai bloodlines. Seems like a pretty important, if you want to control the whole world, or maybe not the whole world, but with what I think what's happening right now is clearly someone wanting to control the whole world. You don't want proud lineage like that. So the Japanese samurai lineage, they took a beating. You know where else had some very proud knighthoods? Poland. Poland had knighthoods across their country prior to World War II. Where are those knighthoods now? What would those bloodlines be doing right now? In 2020 and 2021, what would they be doing right now? Why have American men been turned into giant children through the education system and in many ways emasculated so that they don't stand up right now? Why is that stuff not covered in those places of the world? Because they don't want it to be thought about. And that's basically history as a whole, in the way that it's taught now is misleading. Yet if you believe X, you can't see Y. And a fun one to go into, because this part's a little bit heavy about history, is there's no dinosaurs. They made that up. There's no fossil fuel. They made that up. Fossil fuels, that's just the Earth's blood. How many times, if you look through history, the stuff that we can see, have they pretended like we were going to run out of fossil fuels and oil because it's a resource that we're going to run out of because the gibberish they made up about how it came to be through these fossilized things. It's clearly a renewable resource. We never ran out like they said that they would. And they keep on finding new reasons to tell us, oh, well, it just so happens that here's another way we can get it, but it's still going to run out someday. So you better be careful. It's made up. And why would they make these things up? Well, first of all, they don't want us to know that the energy we're using comes from where it does, because that completely destroys all of the Western matrix to even know those things. And the dinosaur thing is just to give us something to look at for when things are found that don't line up with the pretend history timelines we've been given. Like humans, evolution's silly. That's a great one to unlearn. All religious people know that evolution is silly, but we're definitely not monkeys. That's a crazy theory. Yeah, there was this one cell in the ocean and then it turned to these other things and it turned to these other things and it turned to these other things. And by the way, you're just a useless monkey on a floating rock and nothing matters. So there's a great one to unlearn. And that's what history is. It's misleading and it's an indoctrination process. We get it as children. We get rewarded for knowing things. A, B, C, D. Which one's right? You pick C. You get a tap on the head, you feel good about yourself, you feel accomplished, and you're a child at this point. You want the older people you want to feel good. And in the system, if you're getting good grades, you get better things in the future, you get better opportunities in the future. So it makes sense to, as a young person, really want to strive to know these things. And then as an adult, you never check back into it. So when people start coming with these different ideas, like the things that I'm talking about, oh, well, they're a conspiracy theorist. I already know these things that I was indoctrinated to as a kid. Of course, that's not the actual thought that's coming through, but I know these things. So what you're saying can't be true. I'm not even going to think about it. And then they give people a beautiful word, conspiracy theory. That is a term that was created to help people maintain cognitive dissonance. I know something, you're wrong, conspiracy theorist. I don't need to think about it. Yeah, there was a lot to go into on that little